Welcome to 755 Live, about 5 minutes of what Jesus said. You can find a different command of Jesus every day at our weekday Bible plan at bible.today.church. And a quick reminder, if this is meaningful to you, if you find these 5 minutes about what Jesus said helpful, it really helps us to get the word out. If you like it on social media, if you share it on your timelines, it just really helps, and I would appreciate that. Comment, let us know that you're here. All of those things just help that algorithm get the word out, and we just want to make much of Jesus. Today, we're going to be talking about what Jesus said in Matthew 24, 42 through 44, where Jesus said, "Be ready." Verse 42 says, "So you too must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. Understand this, if a homeowner knew exactly when a burglar was coming, he would keep watch and not permit his house to be broken into. You must also be ready all the time, for the Son of Man will come when least expected." Jesus said, be ready, watch. That word for watch means to be vigilant, to be on the alert. And Jesus used that same word the night before his crucifixion, when he went to the Garden of Gethsemane, and he took a couple of disciples with him, and he told them in Matthew 26:38, he said, "My soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." Using that very same word, to be ready, to be vigilant. And unfortunately, the disciples that went with Jesus at this incredible time of prayer didn't really take what he said seriously. They didn't keep watch with him. In fact, they fell asleep. And he came to them a little bit later in verse 40 of Matthew 26, and he returned to the disciples and found them asleep. And he said to Peter, "Couldn't you watch with me even 1 hour? Keep watch and pray." Why? "So that you will not give in to temptation, for the spirit is willing, but the body is weak." Jesus challenged Peter. He said, "Couldn't you even watch with me 1 hour?" As we talk about being ready today, I want to challenge you, challenge me with that same question. Couldn't you watch with me even 1 hour? I want to just ask a hard question. When was the last time that you spent 1 hour totally focused on watching and praying? Do we do that daily? Is it really that much to set aside time when Jesus said that we should always watch and be ready? And that's the way that we don't give in to temptation, because the spirit's willing, but the flesh, the body is weak. We must always be ready. We don't know when Jesus is coming, and we should live like he could come back any moment. And we should be watching and waiting. And that watching is like a servant, like a waiter in a fine restaurant, who's watching the table to see if there's a need. In Isaiah 40:31, common scripture, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Watching and waiting like a servant, not waiting, sitting and twiddling our thumbs, but waiting in anticipation, looking for God's kingdom and how that we can serve others. In Isaiah 40, this verse is not a passive verse. Waiting is acting in faith. The waiting is renewing our strength. The waiting is taking wings like eagles. The waiting is running and not being weary. The waiting is walking and not fainting. Later on in verse 45 of Matthew 24, where Jesus said, "Be ready," he said, "A faithful, sensible servant is the one to whom the master can give the responsibility of managing his other household servants and feeding them." Being ready, watching and waiting, is being willing at all times to be a servant, watching for those needs where we can take care of others, feed others. It's not about us getting fed. It's not about us just getting our needs met. Jesus said, be ready, watch, and wait. Have you done that an hour lately? Are we watching like the servants Jesus called us to be? Jesus said, be ready. How can we put that